What up, party people? Welcome to a new episode of the Nick and the Hick, episode 8. I am Eric, also known as Captain Cannon, but for tonight, I am known as the Nick. And with me, as always, is...
Hey guys, I'm the Hick, Michael Brevard Decker, aka Captain BD, but right now, I am the Hick.
So tonight, we're going to take a little bit of a break between the Quentin Tarantino retrospective, as I like to call it, and also some gaming, to give you a bit of a hodgepodge of different things. We're going to be talking about some unpopular opinions that we have with movies, maybe talk about a little music, which we almost never talk about, and then we'll probably talk about some recommendations that we have based on other movies or video games and whatnot. But as always, we always like to start off with what we've been playing / watching, and obviously we've both been playing Ghosts of Tsushima. So, but first, are you playing anything else other than that?
So last Thursday and Friday, I was playing a little bit of Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, right.
I've done a couple things here and there and Animal Crossing, but no, I've just been playing Ghost.
Yeah, same here. I have to get on Switch and either play Animal Crossing or Donkey Kong, but I haven't been able to. So before we get into Ghost, so we just briefly talked about off air about Umbrella Academy. So you're enjoying it, right? You're on the 4th episode just like I am.
Yep, I am enjoying it. I like Dad being a badass. That's cool, right?
Yeah. In the comic, he has... I won't say anything. I'll just say that I wonder if they're going to bring it up. His past, because he has a real interesting past. So Andre just messaged us before we recorded the show and said that he finished the show already.
Yeah, finished it, dude.
Academy.
It came out, what, Friday?
Yeah, Friday. 10 episodes. I liked your response. You said, what did you say? How do you sleep? Or when do you sleep?
When? Yeah.
It's true. But I said to him, I know you read this. So far, I feel like it's a little predictable.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a rehash from season 1. I won't go into spoilers of why, because I kind of know what happens a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's a little predictable?
Yeah, well, like, so with Diego being in like the mental institution and that girl, when they were escaping and she showed her abilities, how well she could handle herself.
Right.
Immediately, I'm like, well, she's going to be bad.
Right.
So yeah, predictable like that for sure.
They're supposed to be in the 60s, and her attitude didn't really fit the mold of the 60s.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I guess I kind of rang a bell in my head. Like, this seems weird, she's not acting normal compared to what 60s, she is in a mental institution, but still just her speech and the things that she says, and it just didn't seem like it fit. Yeah, but so anyway, Ghosts. So
That's great.
I've been holding off from telling you anything.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about it here.
Well, so first I want to know, before you get started, let's just start with how far we are.
Yep.
So how far are you?
I'm in Act 3.
Yeah, but what have you done in Act 3?
Not much. Okay. Before we talk, I do want to say that there are going to be spoilers. So
yes.
Andre, if you're listening, you maybe want to put your fingers in your ears or just fast forward. So not much. You had warned me that you wouldn't be able to fast travel.
Yes.
But I don't know. I didn't understand fully what you meant. In that you are exiled.
Yes.
And I was like, holy shit. Because I purposely kept a lot of side missions for the reason of just like being able to go back whenever I wanted. And now I can't.
So you will. I'm at a point now to where I can go back.
Okay. But
It was
What?
pretty long though. It took a little while to make it to this point. It
Uh,
starts getting real like fetch questy, you know?
mhm. The storyline is great though. Why
Yeah.
you're exiled is crazy. The whole thing of like storming the castle and what you have to do. And I love the morality question of like, you have to adapt to
Yes.
this enemy, but at the same time, are you losing a part of yourself, and are you now becoming the enemy? Especially since what he did at the castle,
The
the
poison.
enemy is now doing. Yeah, he's poisoned
Yeah,
them,
they
so
are.
now they're doing it.
They adapted.
So yeah, it's a very interesting tale. And
And
they what?
no, I was gonna say, and once again, the archers are fucking much harder.
Yeah, because now they shoot poison arrows. I noticed because we had talked about this in the group pod about how it does get harder. One of the things is the archers will sometimes shoot 3 arrows in a row.
Yeah.
So that's where it's interesting because the enemy adapts the further you get into the storyline. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really that far. What I was doing, I'm in the middle of doing, is getting the fire sword.
That's what I want. Yeah. So
Uh,
that's Act 3. Where is that musician?
he is in one of the first um, villages you get to.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to
Uh,
look that up when I get off here.
so there was somebody with a word balloon, like one of
Yeah.
those random people you talk to, and then
Okay.
it
So it
and then
wasn't
it
the
showed
musician.
up, and then it is a musician, but the word balloon, the person with the word balloon, then brings you to that person, like
Okay.
brings you to the musician, or the storyteller, whatever, the one that does
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mythical.
He's a musician. Yeah.
Okay,
So let me ask you. Let me ask you this: the big $1 million question.
what?
How shitty were you with what they did?
What do you mean? Oh,
What the developers did?
with the brother.
No, with the horse.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was bad. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
couldn't believe it.
it wasn't. It was like, so in the beginning of the game, you not only choose your horse, you name your horse.
And he's not he doesn't really have connections with anybody. You know what I mean?
True.
You're a loner in this game.
Yeah.
Every time you beat a mission, especially big ones and then after duels and big duels and shit like that, like you're always laying on your horse,
Yeah.
just patting him or leaning up against him, just
Yeah.
having a nice moment with him. And then like
Good point.
as you're riding around everywhere, he's always like, "You're such a good horse." And, like he just pats
Mm-hmm.
him like, "Good job, you're a great horse."
Mm-hmm.
So like he loves his horse, man. And now I got this skinny ass nag.
Nameless bastard. Yeah. It was just again. It was interesting that they like purposely had you name the horse, so you get to choose a few options, but and then they take it away. It's like they wanted you to have that connection, just like he did, just like Jin does with the horse. But
What'd
yeah,
you
I
name your
mean,
horse?
I don't remember. What was yours?
Kage.
I can't remember it. I mean, I heard him say it a bunch of times, but
I thought it
for
said
some reason.
cage.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Kaje, yeah. With the K, right?
Yeah.
Kage. Yeah, that's it.
I was like, oh, Cage, that's a cool name. And then he's
Yeah.
good boy
Kaje,
Kage.
yeah.
I'm like, that's not how you say it.
But yeah, I still love this game. I mean, I
Oh yeah,
think
me too.
you said it best is that, you start to get fatigued and then it changes. It gets
Yep.
harder. And that's what that's what it's still doing. It's still doing that. So when you get I haven't gotten the sword yet, but to get the fiery sword, you have to climb up the mountain, and the mountain is freezing. So I think I wrote to you that this was like Breath of the Wild
Okay, because you were
because
slipping.
no, you start to freeze.
Oh.
So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like I keep changing his outfit, but it's not helping. It's because there's like a campfire. So
Hmm.
you have to go from campfire to campfire before you freeze to death.
Got you.
So it's like really difficult because you're climbing up a mountain. So you have to try to figure out, well, where do I go and how do I get up there and what part do I climb up or do I use the grappling hook? all while he's freezing, slowly but surely, and then eventually it will take away his health. So it's like time, not really timed, but it's like you gotta go before you die.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's pretty difficult. But yeah, I don't know. That's you have any other?
So right now that I can go back to Act 1 and Act 2,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been wrapping up all the side missions. So I have all the bamboos, and I have
Oh, okay.
in the game. It gives you a cool mask.
Oh, okay.
And then I just did all the hot springs too.
Cool.
So I got those wrapped up. Well, I don't have any of the hot. I only have maybe one or two in Act 3, but I have all of them in Act 1 and Act 2. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing now. Is I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna try to platinum this game.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
because I don't have a platinum yet.
Yeah. Except for the shark game, which robbed me of the platinum. I don't think I do either. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I have all the bamboos and the hot springs in Act 1 and 2. I need to get 3. I have everything liberated in Act 1 and Act 2.
Okay,
What?
I'm missing one in Act 1, and I only have like 12 in Act 2.
I'm just the nitty gritty stuff, like the banners and those other things, other
Records.
collectibles, yeah, records, that sort of thing. That's what I need. But those are a little bit more difficult
Yeah,
because you have to
especially
wear.
using that wind thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The crickets. I think I'm almost done with the crickets.
Oh wow, you've got how many was it total? 20 or something?
20. Yeah, 20.
So I think I've got like
Um,
8 or 9 now.
I think I have. I don't know if it's 15, but it's close to 15. Yeah. I mean, like you said, once you get into Act 2 and then Act 3, it's like you
The
start from
difficulty goes up.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start from fresh because you start discovering things again. But the map gets smaller. So
Yes.
Act 1 was a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. But yeah, I feel so with the storyline alone, I think it might be game of the year.
Yeah. 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 And guys, obviously you guys are playing this, when you get into Act 3, like the storyline really picks up
It really does.
like tremendously.
Yeah.
Like you start really like just liking Jin and just like being behind him, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and his efforts now. You know, when he threw that paper down, he was like, "Nah, I'm not your son."
Yeah, that was tough. That was so tough. But he even just said to Uni or Yuna, whatever her name is, that he knows he hurt his uncle's heart, or he hurt his uncle, but he believes in this. I say that when they go to take over the castle, there's like the uncle wants to repair the bridge,
Hmm.
but Jin knows that more people are just gonna die, and the uncle is just using them for his own benefit, and he doesn't care that these people died. It didn't really seem like he cared. So Jin's way will save people, but hurt his soul in the end, basically.
Yep.
And that's great. That's just a great moral dilemma, you know.
So what did you think about the very beginning of Act 3 when it was like just pure stealth for a couple hours?
It was, I don't know, it was fine, but I'm on the fence about it. I do like using stealth, but I like using stealth when I want to,
Yeah.
and even if there's, like if for whatever reason the stealth doesn't work and then I have to fight, fine. But to be forced to do stealth, I'm not really always a big fan of that, because it's like if you fuck up, it's like you die, pretty
Yep, you gotta
much.
start over.
Start over, and if you're using stealth and you fuck up, oh, you got to fight, but at least you don't automatically die.
Okay, and that's
Well,
something I like too about this game is when you do die, the soldiers that you killed and you come back, like they're still dead, you know?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
if you're in a fight and you get killed, but there was only one guy left, when you come back, it's just that one guy.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I really do like this game. I'm gonna be sad to see it end, but I'm also curious how it's gonna end. Very
Yeah.
curious, because I like your theory that you had mentioned to me, um, which I don't know if you want to talk about, but I do agree with it.
I mean, I don't know if many people know because I forget. It was some random villager, I think. Um, I think it was a random villager. But basically, they talk about the history of the Sakais and the Shimuras.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sakais were like this really noble family,
Mm.
and the Shimuras like were not. They were like warlords, and they they were fighting, I think, Sakai or something like that, and like basically doing away with like that bloodline. But like Sakai joined Shimura, and they became like families. So I think my prediction was that that's going to come back up, and this is the Sakai's time to shine. You know what I mean?
Right.
To reclaim Tsushima.
So you think that, yeah, but you also said to me that you think, yeah, that that Jin and his uncle are just going to be so on opposite sides of this that they're going to end up having
Oh
to,
yeah, they're going to fight.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what else was I saying? So yeah, so have you so in real life when the Mongols did invade Tsushima,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this huge storm in real life that fucking wiped out the Mongolians like in
Okay.
ships, and that's why they lost. And there's so many references. I've heard like two or three, maybe not so many, but I've heard like two or three where people are like talking about like there's a huge storm coming on the way, like you're not gonna want any boats out there.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
Interesting. Yeah. That is cool. But yeah, really like this game. We're both on Act 3. I think that's about it.
Well,
So so I wanted to talk about some unpopular. I've been wanting to do this segment for a while, but some unpopular opinions that we both have in movies. So basically, this means, you know, what it sounds like, just things that we think about movies, particular movies, that isn't really a popular opinion. Do you have one off the top of your head?
so do you mean things within movies or just
Anything.
movies at all?
Movies at all, actors, directors, whatever. If you think, you know, something that's kind of beloved and you fucking hate it, things like that. Because I got
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah,
Sandlot,
I
right?
do. I was gonna bring that up, but not at first. Not at
Um,
first.
movies that people hate. So I hate things within movies that when you're thinking like, come on, that's stupid horseshit. So the prequels, obviously, Star
Oh
Wars
yeah,
prequels,
yeah,
um, they're awful. Watching Death Proof not too long ago, there was so many times where I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense
right,
at
right.
all. So yeah, things like that. I'd have to think a little bit more.
So it could be. So like, you know,
Give me
I.
yours.
All right, I will. I just want to uh add on to what you said about the prequels. You know, like usually it's something that people really love, but you just can't stand. But the thing about the prequels is, you
Everybody
know, I
doesn't like them.
oh yes. However, there are a group of people who do like the prequels. The reason why is because that's what they grew up on.
Oh yeah,
So used to work with this kid. I mean, he was a kid. He was, you know, barely 20, 21. And he loved Star Wars, but he loved the prequels. And I was always told, oh, it's because that's what he grew up on. So, like, I wasn't around in 1977, but I still grew up watching episode 4, you know?
yep.
I think that's kind of an excuse, but there are people who do like the prequels. They just don't know any better. So one of mine, is this is a movie that people really like that I hate. I cannot stand this movie. And it is 1983's Scarface.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I hate this movie. I will tell you why. First off,
It's longer than shit.
yeah, it's long. In my opinion, it ruined Al Pacino's career because it's one of his, not his first movie, but one of his earlier movies where he just screams all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And ever since then, almost every movie he's done after, he just screams all the fucking time. So there's that. The director, Brian De Palma, who was kind of in the beginning known as being like a Alfred Hitchcock ripoff because he did a lot of movies, but he was still kind of I mean, he did Carrie, and ever since he did Scarface, his career kind of went downhill because I feel like I don't know what it is. I don't know why it ruined their careers. Well, for Pacino, I think it just turned him into a yelling, asshole. I don't know what to say, but it's also the story is so fucking stupid because everyone gets behind this fucking asshole who dies in the end. And like you have this legion of people who look up to the character, what's his name? And Tony Montana. And they look up to him and they want to be him. But he dies in the end. Why do you want to be him if he loses everything? He loses his own life. And then he's kind of in love with his sister, which is really creepy. So it's such a bad movie. It's just
all right, so that's a movie that I grew up on. So I love Scarface.
I know a lot of people do. I can't stand it.
I love it. It's super long.
It is long.
I don't know if this is unpopular or not, but definitely something that I don't really care for is the Hobbit trilogy.
Well, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure Dre is not one of those people, but a lot of people don't like The Hobbit because it didn't need to be 3 movies, right?
No, yeah, it's one book.
Yeah.
It's one book.
They stretched it out.
Yeah, that's not my favorite work. I've been listening to Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, through Audibles, and like everything is wrong.
Really?
Like everything in the movie. Everything.
Oh, really? Compared to the book?
Yeah, I thought it was just a couple things in each movie when I was growing up, or not when I was growing up, but like when I was in like high school, because that's when they came out, and I had read the books back then. But it's crazy what's all wrong.
Right.
Like basically every single scene of the movie.
Wow. I know, like they changed things like Legolas. He's not really in the book, is he?
Oh yeah, he's in the book.
He is, but not as much as he's in the movie. I thought they extended his
So
character.
who they really changed the most is Liv Tyler. She's been like not really in the books. They needed her to be in the movies. But the part where she picks up Frodo after he's been stabbed and she's running from the ring race and she's at the river. That's a completely different character that did all that. Actually, it was 2 different characters, and Frodo was on his own horse.
Wow. Who does the reading on those? Anyone?
No, nobody. This was I'm not reading the motion picture ones. I'm reading the actual novels, and
I know, but I mean,
it was recorded like early 90s.
Okay.
So it wasn't any of them.
No, I know, but sometimes it's usually not them in particular. I'm just mean, is it a celebrity at all?
On Spotify, though, they had a Harry Potter deal going on to where people from the movie, people from plays, they were reading the book.
Doing them? Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, you already said this. Another unpopular opinion is Sandlot. I cannot stand that movie. Now, here's my thing with it. Wait, now, did you grow up with that movie?
Yeah. It's a kids movie.
But here's the thing: it's not a good kids movie,
It's all
and
right.
it's not a good movie. I've told you this. I'm going to tell you this again. If I ever tell you that I grew up with a movie that you think is not a good movie and does not hold up, you fucking call my ass out on that, because that's the problem I have with it, is that it's not, that makes no sense. A lot of that movie doesn't make any sense, but people are still, like, it's such a beloved movie, and it's like, it doesn't hold up. The movie does not hold up. Can you at least give me that it doesn't hold up?
It it's a kids
James Earl
movie.
Jones, but it doesn't matter. There's tons of kids movies that
It's a kids movie.
look
It's
at
not.
look
It
at.
doesn't have to make sense.
It should make a little sense. I mean, dude, this isn't fucking. It wasn't made for like 4-year-olds. It was made for kids who know what logic is for the most part. James Earl Jones did not play baseball with Babe Ruth.
No.
He didn't.
No.
There are tons of kids movies that still hold up, and kids movies that make sense. I mean, a lot of fucking Pixar movies are somewhat made for kids, and they hold up.
All right. So what else doesn't make sense in the movie besides James Earl Jones not playing
Him not
baseball?
knowing who Babe Ruth is. The kid not knowing who Babe Ruth is. Now, look, you can argue because he doesn't know baseball, he wouldn't know who Babe Ruth is. Fine. His mom knows who Babe Ruth is. But really the problem is if you have a signed baseball literally on a pedestal, why the hell would you take it and think, I could play baseball with it? Why? You know that the stepfather idolizes the ball. So you would know it has some sort of value to him. So why would you literally throw it around and hit it? It makes no fucking, that kid is so stupid, that kid. What about that?
Teach their own.
Oh, please. It doesn't hold up. That's my only problem. It doesn't hold up.
I've got one for you.
What?
The Thing.
See, now you're just being mean.
No, you grew up with it. It's okay. So The Thing is a good movie.
Yeah.
Watching it in 2020, it looks like trash.
No, it doesn't.
It
That's
looks like
first of all, that's a strong word.
yeah,
And
it looks so bad.
But if you watch the remake, prequel, whatever you want to call it, that was made in modern times, and that looks like shit.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you anything that you will think that the original looks better than the more modern one. It doesn't look trash. That's a strong word, trash. There's
Dude,
tons of movies in the 80s look
the
trash.
effects are just not good.
You know what? That is an unpopular opinion, because
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
bet you
it is.
anything, most people think those special effects still hold up. Have
So
you watched what?
another movie that special effects are garbage,
What?
and I do like the movie, but Conan.
Really? Wow. Have you seen The Fly? Within the past 5 or 10 years,
No.
the one have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Because
I think I've seen that one and the second one.
I'm curious if you think that has held up or not held up, special effects wise.
Animal House. I'm not really that big into Animal House.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I grew up with that movie, but I will admit to you that in 2020, it is a difficult movie to watch.
Yeah, it's super rapey.
Oh yeah, super rapey. And I'll be the first to admit it. I will really be the first to admit it. And it's not, it's not an excuse to be like, oh, it's rapey, but it's so funny. No, it's rapey. So
Yeah.
I can totally see why people would. But yeah, The Thing's not trash. So anyway, another one, I've said this before, is Avatar. There are people who love Avatar, but I just can't stand that movie.
The last time we talked about this, you had a good point. I do
What's
like
that?
Avatar. And you were like, do you like it enough to go watch it again? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
You're like, so it's not a good movie.
Yeah. I mean, there are one and dones, but that movie is just, that movie hasn't held up either.
No, that hasn't. That's all that fucking blue.
Yeah, it's a lot of blue. What else? You got another one?
Hmm. I'm not a huge fan. I love westerns. I'm not really that
Right.
big of a fan of John Wayne.
You know what? I'm with you on that one. I am totally with you on that one. Um, but you like spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, yep. I love Clint.
Yeah, John Wayne represents a different kind of western.
Yep.
Um, so and
Just
he
comes off
always,
hokey to me.
yeah, and he always played the same character, pretty much,
Hmm.
except when he was playing Attila the Hun. Uh, you heard about that, right?
Different time, man.
Yeah, yeah. You heard about the rumor that, well, not really much of a rumor, that most of the people who worked on that movie all died of cancer.
No.
Oh, okay. Little movie history for you. So John Wayne played Attila the Hun,
Yep.
the Conqueror, and he played it in
With
Yellowface.
just the yeah, he did it with Yellowface and did with his John Wayne voice.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So they filmed the movie in, I believe, in Arizona, and in that particular area of Arizona, they tested
Oh,
the bomb.
nukes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they tested nukes. So the rumor goes is that the sand was irradiated. And if you look at the cast and a lot of the crew, they all died of some sort of cancer.
Hmm.
So I think my number's not going to be exact, but I would want to say somewhere between 15 to 20 people who worked in the movie all died of various forms of cancer. So it's been said that it's probably because of a test site that they did the movie on. But yeah, so that's what you get for doing Yellowface.
Yep.
I also, so you say an actor you don't like? I don't like Will Smith.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that not all the time, but for the most part, he plays the same, if not similar, character.
Yeah, he's Will Smith.
Obviously, unlike I'm not talking about Ali or movies of that nature, but he falls into the category of a comedic actor who tried to be serious for like a while, and I guess he still is, but like he once made a comment about uh he was called like Mr. July or Mr. Summer or something like that. And he once made a comment something about sci-fi movies, about how sci-fi movies are like always going to make a lot of money during that summer time period. So to me, it feels like he's not making movies because he believes in them, but more because he knows they'll make money.
I don't think that held up for After Earth.
No. Or Gemini Man.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
People did not like it.
So yeah, Will Smith for me. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I loved it.
I mean, yeah.
Um, I of course Ali. I thought Hancock was pretty good,
Mm,
but other than that, yeah. I mean, he plays the same person. And when we had that list of who you could cut out, if who you could do without me, and that
yeah.
meaning that
Hmm.
all their movies would go away, everything that they would do would go away. It would definitely be Will Smith. So that was out of
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and Keanu Reeves and Will Smith, right?
Yeah. I don't remember the fourth though. Wasn't there a fourth?
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It would have been Will Smith. I've said this before. I have this I I don't know what this I guess a mantra. Everyone has at least one good movie and everyone has at least one bad movie. And even Will Smith did this movie early in his career called 6 Degrees of Separation, and I always like that movie. It's a fucked up movie about this kid who pretends to be Sidney Poitier's son, and he kind of manipulates like a rich white family to take him in. He's basically a hustler, but it's really, it was early in his career, so he actually tried to act. Um, you got any more?
I don't think so. This is something I'll be thinking about now.
Well, I mean, if you ever come up with another one, could definitely talk more about this. Um, yeah, I knew there was another one, but I can't seem to remember it.
I have one for you. I'm not
What?
that crazy about um, Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Not that crazy about it.
Either people like it or they don't like it.
Yeah.
definitely. I don't mind it. I like it. Um, I didn't like what's your problem with it? If there's one or more than one. I'm sure there's more than one.
So he's like decrepit, right? Like he can't move.
Right, his back.
Yeah, his back is just shot to shit, and they just put a brace on him and like, up now you can punch through walls and kick through shit. You know, you're good now.
Yeah, because in reality that would take. Well, in reality, you probably wouldn't come back from that at all.
No,
But
like when they did the X-ray and he had no cartilage in anything, and like his body has just been so abused.
oh yeah, you mean in the beginning? Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, in the
yeah,
very beginning. Yeah, not
yeah.
not the getting thrown um into the well, but yeah, in the beginning, he couldn't. He had a cane. He couldn't walk around.
Right. And then all of a sudden he could do it again.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't think Tom Hardy was awesome.
what?
He was all right.
Oh,
He should never have been Bane.
why? Because he wasn't big enough,
Yeah,
or
because he's 5'8" and
he's only
he's
5'8"?
it's like
Really?
maybe 5'9". I don't know. He's not a big man.
Wow.
He's probably 5'9". He's under 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's just itty bitty.
He's in a bit.
I mean, I'm 5'11". I'm calling that guy small, so
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he's for Bane for sure.
No,
And
yeah, definitely.
Bane
I
is
agree. Yeah, yeah,
massive,
yeah. Yeah, it's
and
supposed to be.
is just a guy that couldn't breathe. I mean, Bane had, you know, toxic shit being pumped through him,
In his veins, yeah.
that Joker juice or whatever.
Venom.
Yeah, Venom. Yeah. So I didn't care for him. Um, he was all right. I mean, it's a as far as DC movies go and Batman movies in particular, like it's probably the fourth or fifth best one, you know, in my opinion.
And the first one would be
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, and then probably Batman Begins.
Hmm. Okay. And then Batman and Robin.
And yeah, of course.
I was gonna say it's better. I mean, Tom Hardy is better than the Bane we got in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Which
Uh,
looks just like the cart or the comics guys, right?
yeah, yeah, but I mean, it was a wrestler who was kind of like fat muscle,
Yeah.
so it wasn't even real muscle. It was just like, what's it called? He was just wide or big or whatever you want to call it. But he kept like talking like Frankenstein's monster. It was just like,
Yeah.
And I almost got up from my seat in the theater and was like, "That's not big,"
So that movie is horrible.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore is so bad in it.
That's Batman Forever.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's with that
Oh,
one's
they're both.
that
Not
one's
that
horrible.
great. They're not that great.
Yeah.
Here's my unpopular opinion. Michael Keaton was an awful Batman.
Oh,
I'm
really?
kidding. No, I'm kidding.
You know what? Maybe
What?
he wasn't a great Batman per se, just
He
because
was a great Bruce Wayne.
he was a great Bruce Wayne.
No, he was. He's definitely. I'm just playing around. I had one. I don't remember what I was gonna say. But I think we could definitely do the second one again because I always bitch and moan about a lot of things. People love this movie, The Greatest Showman, with Hugh Jackman, and I've never seen it, but I don't think I will ever see it.
Yeah, I don't really do musicals.
Because, well, it's not just that. It's like it's about B.T. Barnum, who was like a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
And they just made it out to be like, Jesus, great guy. Oh, I will say one more thing. So, got to show my age. I was born in 1978. And if you look at like the best movies or the highest grossing movies in 1978, it's Grease. And I can't fucking stand Grease.
Yep.
Cannot stand Grease. I'll tell you this quick story. So my parents and I went to Disney World when I was about 9 years old. And we didn't stay on property, but we stayed at this hotel that had like a kid zone kind of thing. You know, they had like a clubhouse for kids to go to and do things and watch movies, so the parents could go eat by themselves without the shitheads with them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So one night they're like, okay, all right, you're going to stay at this club, this kids club, whatever the fuck it was called. And we're going to go out to eat. I'm like, all right, well, I think they told me where they were going to go because they usually did. And so one of the adults at the place was like, okay, kids, we're going to watch the movie Grease. And I was like, no.
No.
So I walked out. I left the club without telling an adult. And I walked across the street to the restaurant where my parents were. And I literally walked into the dining room and plopped right down in the seat. And I'm like, what's up, guys? And they're
Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing here? They're showing that movie. I don't like it. And they were like, what about an adult? I said, nobody said anything.
I knew where you guys were.
Front door. Yeah, I knew where you were. That's how much I hate that fucking movie, even at 9.
Dirty Dancing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I can't fucking stomach it.
Yeah, I don't like Dirty Dancing either. All right, so what else? So music. So we never talked about music. And you had mentioned this a long time ago that we should bring up music. So what would you say, I mean, just random, what would you say like some of your favorite bands are?
Well, I'd say my favorite genre is probably Seattle grunge.
Oh, really?
Yep. So Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my favorite, genre. But I listen to everything, man. It just depends on. And I hate when people say it because I don't listen to everything. I don't like a lot of country.
Yeah.
I'm not really big on pop. I can be, I guess. So I'm really just like I like rap. I like rock. I like all types of rock. What am I? So have you listened to that new Sturgill Simpson album? Or it's not new. It's about a year old now. But
No.
so there's also an animation that they have on Netflix for. So yeah, check that out. It's great. I don't know, man. I listen to Bob Marley, I listen to the Beatles, I listen to, Metallica and fucking Megadeth, and I mean I jump all over the place.
Right. Well, I do know you like hip hop because you've worn the Wu-Tang shirts and the Death Row record shirts.
So I like early to mid 90s hip hop. And then probably some 2000s I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into the new stuff. I'm just
right. Well, it's changed.
It's changed. The thing with music, I forget I was reading this one time, but the thing with music is that whatever you grow up with, that is what your taste is set to. And that's where you're always going to be with music. Like your favorite shit will be what you were listening to on the radio when you were a kid and you discovered music,
Right.
And when something new comes out, you're just like, it's just like this natural built-in like us being cynical,
Yeah. Yeah, the cynical definitely makes sense.
Are you listening to anything new?
Not really. Most of the new stuff I listen to are somewhere like 5 years, something like that. Because the thing with me is I mostly like singles. I do like some albums. I do like a lot of albums, but usually I just like songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs I listen to are from indie rock bands, and they're usually somewhere between 5 to 10 years old.
Okay.
So they're not that old, but they're not that new either. So because rock is pretty much, lack of a better term, dead,
Yeah.
especially for modern kind of rock, you know. So any good shit, you kind of have to go indie, you know. Anything that kind of reminds you of the stuff you grew up with. Like for instance, I like this band Slot Thrust. So Slot Thrust is like, oh, I'm trying to think when their last album was only a few years ago. So again, it's like, you know, they put new music out, but it's not going to listen. It's not going to sound like the stuff you hear on the radio, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Yeah. So I've asked you this, but I forget the answer. Are you on Spotify?
No, I don't have a Spotify account. So
Okay.
I just I have the app. I don't pay for anything.
Okay.
I just listen to pods on it. So I listen to Amazon Music.
Okay. One of the things with Spotify is they build because it's all about playlists.
Yeah.
So they build a playlist for you, depending on what you search for, what you listen to, what you like, that sort of shit. So a lot of the newer music that I listen to is because of that. So like Slot Thrust is one of those bands where it just came up on this playlist that Spotify made for me. And then I just started listening to other songs. And, you know, like I said, I'm not really a big album person. I do like a lot of albums I grew up with. But other than that, like, you know. So two of the bands that you know, it's all like you start re-listening to things that you liked, you know, and then so you're into that for that moment. I'm really listening to a lot of two bands that I like, Deftones and Radiohead, which are like at the end of the spectrum, kind of. And so for Spotify, you can make your own playlists. So I combined Deftones and Radiohead, and I call it Defhead.
Defhead? Okay.
Yeah. So I've been listening to a lot of that.
What's
I
your
don't know.
favorite? You said you're not really into albums, but as far as
Sometimes.
albums go, what's your favorite
Oh
Radiohead?
man, there's a lot.
I've got two, but really one.
One of the things you and I first clicked on, I guess, is 40 Ounces of Freedom.
Yep.
And I think that's still one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'd say with Radiohead, my favorite is OK Computer.
Yeah.
Next I like Hail to the Thief.
Oh yeah?
And I think so there's, as far as singles go, it's not like there was a bunch of singles on that one. It was There. That was probably the biggest actual song, you know, on that album that had a music video and was that got radio play. Other than that, like none of the songs were like that popular. But the album itself I thought was really, really good, and that happened when I was in like high school and fucking Napster and all that shit was going on, and it was one of the first albums that I downloaded off the internet, like because that was one of the only ways that you could even get their music, because you had to go to their website and pay them and to download it.
Yeah.
So I liked that album a lot. Sublime, dude, I love Sublime. I love Sublime, everything really that they do, but 40 Ounces of Freedom is my favorite album.
I think that's their best album. I mean, they don't have that many, but I've always had a love-hate relationship with their self-titled album. Not to sound like an elitist, but it's mostly because a lot of the songs were on the radio.
Yeah.
But also some of the songs, in my opinion, go on too long. And I once heard this rumor that it was because Brad Newell died in the middle of the recording, so they didn't really have any way to finish it, so they just kind of looped it. You know, looped his lyrics.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 40 Ounces of Freedom is like, yeah, the better album. I guess because it's completed. But yeah. What the fuck? Oh, I like OK Computer. I like every album up to Hail to the Thief. I don't know. See, that's the weird thing with me is I stopped listening to certain bands up to a certain point, even the ones I love. like the Deftones, the last full album I heard of theirs was their self-titled one, which was like '04, '02, something like that. So that's why I like. What else is I gonna say? I do like Insomniac though. I like that one too. The Radiohead album. Can you remember the last concert you went to?
Yeah. So let me think. My first concert I went to was the Stones,
Oh yeah.
'94.
Oh, I was gonna ask you how old you were.
Yeah, I was 10.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, my dad
Uh,
took me to see the Stones, and Counting Crows opened up for him.
oh really?
Yep. So the last concert I've been to, it's been a while. Probably
Yeah.
I've seen Hootie in the. We had a this deal in Indianapolis. It's just this park, and we have like this rib. It's called Rib Fest. We have a rib festival every year, and they have a whole bunch of bands, not huge bands, but
Right.
a whole bunch of bands played throughout the whole festival, and they're cheap tickets. But I've saw Hootie and the Blowfish there like probably, 6 times.
Oh wow.
So I used to go to a ton of concerts when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So who I've seen, um, and I went to Detroit to see Roger Waters do Dark Side of the Moon.
How far is that from you?
That was about 6 hours.
Wow. So you just drive the whole 6 hours?
Yeah, I stayed at
Wow.
a hotel that night and then
Wow.
came back home. So I've seen Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I've seen that's just a those are the big ones that I've seen. And then I don't know, dude, so many fucking I've seen SDP, I've seen
Oh really?
yeah, I saw him do Core.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wait, how old were you?
This was in like high school.
Okay.
So they were already pretty old
Yeah.
by this
Okay.
point, but they did Core.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, I've seen Chris Cornell.
Solo.
Um, yeah, yeah, it was just Chris Cornell, but he was doing all the same songs,
Soundgarden songs?
so
Yeah.
and Audio Slave, yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
Um, shit, dude, so many. I tell this to everybody, but I've seen Puddle of Mud like 18 times, and it's never been on purpose.
Wait. That sounds like a great story. Uh, 18 times, is that an exact number?
No, but probably 8.
And none of them been on purpose?
I was never there to see them. They just happened to be like playing there.
So they open up for people?
Yeah, they'd open up or they'd be somewhere on the fucking, docket. They'd be somewhere on the fucking playbill.
Can you remember anyone they opened up for that you went to?
Yeah, Chevelle.
Oh, you saw Chevelle, yeah?
Yeah, I saw well the same show I saw fucking Puddle of Mud once with Seether. Um, yeah, Chevelle was like Chevelle, Breaking Benjamin. Who else was it? Chevelle, Breaking Benjamin, fucking Puddle of Mud. And so in Indy, X103 is our radio station, and then they used to have really big summer festivals, and they just put a shitload of bands together, and that's where we'd go, and there was X Fest, and we would do that every year. So we saw a ton of people.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen Candlebox.
Wow.
Um, oh, I've seen Aerosmith twice. Once they opened up with Fuel. Once nobody really opened for them, and they were just shit. Or once Fuel opened up for them. Here's an unpopular opinion with music. I'm not really that big into Kiss's music.
Okay.
I'm just not. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like I won't turn it off.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the best live shows I've ever seen,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I'm not a big Kiss fan either, but I always tell my wife that if I grew up, if I was a teenager at that time, I probably would love Kiss, because they seem like they're tailor made for
Yeah.
someone like me, you know. Um, I mean, they put their blood in the comic book, you know?
Yeah.
So,
What about you? What's some
all
concerts
right.
you've seen?
So my first concert, I was a kid. Um, me, myself, and some of my family went to go see Bruce Springsteen, and so it was 1984. So that was my very first concert. So it was a very little tight, and they got me a tour T-shirt that I still have,
Wow.
and it's so small it probably won't even fit my head. If that's how small it was compared to the rest of my body. Um, so yeah, I haven't really been to that many concerts in my life. I mean, I've been to a few. I've seen Metallica, um,
Oh yeah, where?
at MSG in the city,
Okay.
Madison Square Garden. That was in '97, so that was like during the Load tour, I think.
Okay.
Uh,
That was
but
probably a spectacle.
yeah, yeah, it was pretty cool though. It was a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. One of the last ones. I mean, I haven't been to a concert in a long time either. Probably 10 years, if not more. But it's just some small indie band that I really liked. That it was in Jersey. It was in New Jersey. We don't really get festivals probably like as much as you do.
Yeah.
Um, like the big ones like Lollapalooza or that. I missed the mark on that. I could have went to that when that was really big in the '90s, but I just never did. Um, so my friend and I were supposed to go see Rage Against the Machine. They were supposed to do a tour with the Beastie Boys,
That would have
and
been
they were
awesome.
supposed to open. Yeah, they were supposed to open for After Drive. After Driving was supposed to open for them, and we had gotten tickets for it. And then Mike D from the Beastie Boys hurt himself. He like broke his collarbone. He broke something, and they canceled the tour. So that was like one of the greatest tours we know. That
That never
didn't
happened.
happen. Yeah, and we were really excited about that. I'm trying to think. I got an unpopular opinion for you in music. It's gonna be bad. So strap in for this one. Um, I don't really care for the Beatles.
Ooh, that's low.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's
low.
revenge for the thing.
I've got
Uh,
one for you, and we'll go
what?
back to the Beatles, but AC/DC,
Okay, you
not my
don't
thing.
like them,
Not
or
my thing. Yeah, they're not my
okay?
thing.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but I mean, so what is it you don't like? Is it the voice?
No, it's not the voice. It's just how repetitive every single song is.
Oh, both singers? Even with both singers?
Yeah, both singers, just the music, just probably fucking what's his name? It's probably little Angus. Isn't it Angus the guitarist? It's
Yeah,
it's
Angus Young,
probably
yeah.
his fault with his fucking four strings.
The same four string. Yeah,
Everything,
yeah.
everything just sounds the exact same. Just riffs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that.
I also don't like, and it's not because of the Big Lebowski, but I don't like the Eagles.
I don't either. I
Yeah,
don't like the Eagles either. I think there's certain bands that are kind of teeter on that soft rock,
yep.
and the Eagles, and I don't like Fleetwood Mac either.
No,
That's
no.
like in the same similar to the Eagles.
All right, so
Uh,
why don't you like the Beatles? Is it you think they're
okay,
overrated, or you
yeah,
just don't?
they're overrated. I think they're overrated. I think that a lot of the songs aren't that great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate them as much as I used to. I do like a few songs, but I still think that they're just overrated. I don't think they're the greatest songwriters as people say they are. They're just they're average. And it's just that pedestal that people put them on, calling them the greatest band of all time. It's just like they're not that great. This is not that great.
I think they are, but that's
I know
okay.
you do. I know you
That's
do.
okay.
Have you ever heard of the movie? Oh fuck! It was recent. It's about a guy who wakes up in a world where there's
Yeah,
no Beatles.
yeah.
So the problem
Yesterday.
is yesterday. Thank you. The problem is that those songs are outdated. They sound outdated, and just because they were great at some parallel universe doesn't mean that they would always be great, especially for modern time. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest problem with the movie. It's just a lot of the songs sound outdated, you know? And I think that just proves my point. They're not that great.
So what's cool about the Beatles is like your taste within the Beatles evolves over time. So like when I was younger, I really liked Sergeant Pepper's and the White
Mm-hmm.
Album, and
Mm-hmm.
they're more rockin' stuff, you know what I mean? The psychedelic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my taste. I really didn't care for the early stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the bebop, wop wop stuff. I didn't really care for it at all, and I wasn't huge on the later stuff. Now I really enjoy the early and the later stuff, and the psychedelic stuff's like it's hard to listen to.
Really? So it's
Yeah,
flipped. It
yep, it's
flipped.
flipped.
I don't know. I mean, I think the early stuff comes off as a little bit like bubblegum pop.
Yep, it is.
And they definitely, that's what, you know, what's interesting though is they started the British invasion, and I do like a lot of the British invasion stuff. Um, like I like the Kinks,
I
and
love the
the
Kinks.
Stones, obviously the Stones, but you know, those two bands, the Stones and the Beatles, were very different, you know,
Yes.
even though they were still kind of rivals. But yeah, like I think, you know, in comparison, I think the Stones are a better band.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
ha
All
ha
right, so here's
ha.
the question.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a rough one, but I do have an answer, so I wanted to see if you have an answer. What would you say is your favorite song
Of all time?
of all time?
Yeah. I have
It's hard.
I have no idea. I mean it varies, I think, you know? It depends on what mood I'm in. I have no idea. What is yours?
Walk On By
Remind me?
from Chef.
Oh, okay. Why is that your favorite?
It's just perfect, I think. I think it's just a perfect song. Um, it's got this really like dirty guitar lick in it, and but yet
Yeah.
it's like a really pretty song.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those that just gives you chills, when
Yeah.
you hear it.
Yeah, I don't really know if I have a favorite song. What else? I'm trying to think of other bands I've seen.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've thought of a couple other ones. It's rough.
yeah, it is. I've seen Rage Against the Machine live. I saw Limp Bizkit live.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I saw
You like
Kid Rock.
you like the Biscuit? I've seen Kid Rock.
I did. I mean, you know what? That's like just eventually start talking about guilty pleasures, because that's definitely something I liked as a. I
Is
can't
it
say kid. I
as a
wasn't a
youth?
kid. Yeah, I really was probably too old, but I was, yeah, I was into the biscuit, and then like everyone else, I realized
They were
how shitty
horrible.
he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I saw Kid Rock before he became, because it was
Douchebag.
part of, yeah, it was part of a festival kind of thing.
I saw the Nuge and walked out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
why? Because it's just because of who he is,
Oh
or just
yeah, no.
because?
I His music's not really that great.
No,
He's got two songs.
yeah, no,
He's got two
he's
songs.
not, he's not.
He's not that great.
No,
And he was just I guess at this time, this is probably 2005-ish. I didn't know that at that time how much of a redneck piece of shit he
okay,
is.
yeah.
So we're going there, and I mean, like, we're in downtown Indianapolis, and he is saying the N word, just being super fucking
Oh
racist on
wow,
stage,
not even trying.
not even trying, blowing shit up with bows and arrows, and just being louder than life, and like just shut the fuck up and play. And but like I said, we're in downtown Indianapolis. Okay, there's
Mm-hmm.
a large population of minorities
Those
downtown.
okay, yeah, yeah.
and this guy's fucking saying the N-word. Like, so yeah, I've never cat scratch fever and
Yeah,
fucking
I don't even know the other one.
stranglehold. It's all right.
Yeah, I think he's overrated.
Yeah.
So you mentioned fuel,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to tell a real quick story. So in hold on, I just want to look this up real quick. In 2003, New York City had a blackout,
Okay.
and it was in the summer. It was about August, and we hadn't had a blackout since like the 70s, I think. So anyway, I was in the middle of the city in Manhattan, and I was working, and we had to close the place down, and it was like I didn't know. So I mean, I understand. Sometimes I talk about New York City with the assumption that everyone knows what New York City looks like or that sort of thing. But obviously, we have the five boroughs. So I was living in Brooklyn, and this was Manhattan, so you have to go over a bridge. You can go over a few bridges, but the point is, walking to the bridge would be a few miles. So some people left, and they were going to go walk home. And this happened at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So they closed the store, and I didn't know what to do. But luckily, I had a coworker who lived nearby. I'm sorry, I was living in Queens at the time. And he lived nearby, so he used to drive me home. And he was like, "Oh, I'll drive you home, but I want to wait because everyone's just going to leave the city at the same time, or Manhattan." New Yorkers tend to call Manhattan the city, even though we still technically live in the city. It's confusing. Anyway, so we wait, and he has a friend nearby. So he hooks up with the friend. So now we're hanging out with the friend. So it's three of us. And then the friend has a friend who lives nearby. So now we go to this other person's house. So now it's the four of us, including the friend's boyfriend. And they live nearby because they go to school. And so like, hey, let's go to the roof of this large apartment building, and we'll just hang out on the roof. There's like lawn chairs, and people go out there to hang out. So we go out there, and we could see a really nice view of the city. And we could see all the people trying to leave the city on the bridge. And who's fucking there but the lead singer of Fuel?
Oh, up on the roof?
Yeah, up on the roof. So we're like literally hanging out with the lead
Oh,
singer of
that's awesome.
Fuel and his girlfriend. And I like my friend, my coworker, I'm like jabbing him, like, "Look who it is. It's the lead singer of Fuel." Which at this point, this is like 2004, they really weren't as
No,
popular as they were maybe.
no,
So,
late
but
90s,
yeah,
2000, around
2000s,
2000.
like 2000, yeah. But it was still kind of interesting that. So it's like if anyone asks, whenever, "Oh, what did you do in the on the blackout?" I hung out with the lead singer of Fuel, not really, but he was like talking to us, and we were all talking in the group. But then we left, and we eventually got home, and I got home at 10 o'clock at night. And some of the people who left as soon as the blackout happened were just getting home at the same time because they
Damn.
chose to walk. Yeah, so it was a crazy time. But
Have you
but
met
yeah,
any other famous people?
yeah. I mean, I worked at Tower Records, a record store. So a lot of people came in and out. So there's just basically just ringing up famous people or seeing famous people. Uh, One other story I thought of was I was at a bar in Manhattan with some friends, and Tom Morello was there
Oh,
from Rage
nice.
Against the Machine,
Yeah.
and he was with a bunch of people. So it's getting late, and my friend wants to go home, and I kind of bully him into staying, and I said to him, "You don't want Tom Morello to think you're a pussy." And Tom Morello looks at us and he shakes his head and goes, "No." So he heard us the whole time, and he just was like, "Yeah, you don't want Tom Morello to think you're a pussy." So that was kind of funny. I was a lot louder than I thought I was.
Oh,
But it was funny though because he added to it. He's like, "No, you don't want Tom Morello to think you're a pussy." So my friend stayed. But no, other than that, you see them, but I'm the type of person that doesn't really want to bother them.
yeah.
Yeah, so but it happens. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think we should talk more about music, and you could yell at me some more of how Beatles
We could,
are a
yeah,
good band.
yeah, you're wrong on that one.
I said that's what you get for the thing. No,
Yeah,
I really think that
I
it's
don't not
just
like the thing. I just think the effects are shit.
that's a strong word,
I
man.
know.
Strong word.
I keep
Um,
changing it, and you keep saying that that's a strong word.
it is a strong word. Yeah, every time. Yeah, that's right. You said garbage, and then you said shit. It's awful. It's not that great. Not that great's a strong word. All right. So, do
Eh,
you have
Any
what?
recommendations?
Yes. Any recommendations?
For you, you should listen to that Sturgill Simpson.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I had it up when you mentioned it.
So that's one.
Um,
If people aren't already listening to Sturgill Simpson, I have to look at the name of the album. It's got a car on it, and just the whole album, just fucking start it and let it go.
is it
Video
the new
game,
one?
yeah.
Video game?
Um, I don't know. I think I'm getting into playing Donkey Kong lately.
Mm-hmm.
Sound and Fury, that's the name of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Donkey Kong lately. Play some old games every once in a while, everybody.
Yeah.
I was playing about a month ago before Tlu 2 and now Ghost came out, and times were pretty dead out there for video games. I
Mm-hmm.
was playing old games, and I was playing like Simpsons Hit and Run and shit like that on Xbox.
Oh yeah. They gotta remake that game or remaster that game.
Yeah, so yeah, play some old shit too every once in a while, everybody.
So I was thinking about Ghost of Tsushima, and this game is based off of or influenced by samurai movies. So I think that if people really want to delve into that, my recommendation was to watch The Seven Samurai,
Yeah.
which is heavily. I mean, that whole so it was directed by Akira Kurosawa, and so this is the ironic thing. This is where everything comes full circle. So he was influenced by westerns,
Hmm.
and I think he was influenced by the West. So he made these samurai movies that feel like westerns.
Yeah.
And then filmmakers that were making westerns were then influenced by his movies. And so then so like the Seven Samurai was remade into the Magnificent Seven.
Hmm.
The the spaghetti westerns that you like were influenced by his movies. So like, what's his name? Clint, the Man with No Name, the trilogy, the Fistful trilogy, the
Hmm.
Dollars trilogy, was based on a Kurosawa film called Yojimbo.
Okay.
So a lot of the sparring scenes. I mean, there's this amazing fucking scene in Seven Samurai where there are two guys sparring, and every time it always reminds me, like when I do it in the game, it always reminds me of that one particular scene. It's
So
a long what?
you've watched quite a few samurai movies.
I've watched a few, yeah, yeah. So the Seven Samurai is probably his most famous, and like
Hmm.
I said, it's been remade, so it's definitely influential. The only issue is that it's long. It's long to the point where there's an intermission in the movie. Yeah, so it's a long movie. I'm trying to 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Oof.
It's from 1956, but it's beautiful. It's shot beautifully. It's got amazing characters, and what's interesting is like each character is different than the last. So they all have their own personalities, and they all have their own backstories. You see that. You see the personalities, but it's a really good. He made good movies. He really did make good movies. And fucking what's it called? So he made a movie called The Hidden Fortress, which is where George Lucas took a lot of his influence to make A New Hope.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's one pick. for me.
Yeah, I've been because of this game. I've been thinking about looking into watching some samurai movies. So I'll probably check out that Seven Samurai.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Oh, I forgot to say that one of our listeners and watchers, Dan, he was the one that recommended us to do recommendations,
Okay.
if that sentence makes sense. And so I wanted to shout him out. And he had mentioned, I think he had mentioned I think he had mentioned me talk about books. And I had one recommendation. So it's the summertime, right? People go to the beach. So I thought, what's the best book to read now? Jaws. It's a
Okay.
great book to read. If you love the movie, buckle in because it's a lot different than the movie. So, because the book is really more about how this town is being torn apart by literally and figuratively by the shark. And so it's one of the better reads that I so far have read. And like I said, I thought it was fitting. Shark attacks, summertime. Why not? What else? You got anything else?
I've been listening to, like I said, I listened to The Fellowship, but I'm also listening to this. So this is Norse Mythology by Simon Lopez.
Oh, really?
And it's just really cool. I don't know a whole lot about
Mm-hmm.
Norse mythology. And really I found out that we kind of do because there's not a whole lot of gods in Norse mythology. It really is just like
A few, yeah.
Thor, Odin, Loki,
Yeah.
Hela, and that's Freya, and that's really about all you get.
Yeah.
But the stories are cool.
Yeah. Mythology is pretty cool. In general. I can't think of anything else. I mean, I think we should do these recommendations more often than not because I think between the two of us, we could come up with a bunch.
Yeah, and shout out Dan again. Thanks for
Yeah,
bringing that up, and thanks
we're bringing that
for
up.
taking care of Discord and trying to help us get better.
Yeah. So yeah. So unless you have anything else, I guess we should wrap it up.
Yep. Nope. I am good. I'm good to go.
So yeah. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and don't forget our Patreon. We have a Gamers Network Patreon. I've been saying this. You said it in the last pod, group pod. Help us
There you go.
help you.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's like, comment, subscribe. Gmail. What are we? Oh, Gamerish 537 at
537.
Gmail.
Yeah.
You have any questions? You have any suggestions? Do we have good recommendations? Is there things that we like that you like or we don't like that you like? Let us know. Gamers Network on Facebook. It's usually we're having what's it called? The TV tournament, the best TV sitcom of all time, and it's a fun place. It's a great group to like share ideas and what's the word? Debate on a friendly level. So yeah, am I missing anything else?
Your book.
Oh yeah. Thank you. I wrote a book called Misanthrope Misanthrope of the Year. Speaking of Daniel, he bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
thank you again.
This week don't think I'm doing overtime, and I get off at just 8 hours each day, and I probably won't work next weekend. So I'm looking at probably getting the first third knocked out.
Cool.
Is my goal.
Cool. Thank you. Let me know. Definitely let me know what you think about that. So yeah, you go on Amazon. I have the link down below if you're watching the video, but if you're listening, you just Google ERIK and Champ Amazon. Usually it comes up. But yeah, unless you got anything else to say.
Nope. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, I am Eric. I am the Nick, and as always,
Captain BD, aka the Hick.
night.
Night, guys.